Stephen. Okay, the rules the playbook to live by, having just a great life. What's in the playbook about doing this?
Well, first of all, the most important thing is that the book ends up with 10 existential hacks. So there's 10 very specific, very concrete pieces of advice, and we'll probably get into some of them afterwards, Ken. The other part is that it focuses on meaning. This means that it's the end goal. So in order to reach a situation which is optimal in your life in the future, and that might be, if you're 30, it might be when you're 50. When you're 50, it might be when you're 70. When you're 70, it might be when you're 90. So you choose your interval yourself. And then you need to have a over-encompassing goal that is worth living for and worth dying for also. So you need to find something which is stimulating enough for you so you can be turned towards it and be looking back at your life with great pleasure that you've actually, done well. For this, I use a strategy called Future Back. And Future Back means that you position yourself in the future. Let's say that you position yourself in the year 2050, and you decide, what have I been doing until then, until now? And you, instead of saying what you're going to do, you say what you have done. And you develop the scenario of what you've done. This gives a sort of a ground, a platform on which you can stand and on which you can rely. So the end goal must be clear, and then you can see the rest of your life as deviations from this end goal. Just as a practical example, I had this, dream of writing this book, which is my third book, and it took me 8 years. And the meaning of it was to get the essence out of all the thinking that has been done, both from philosophers, psychologists, neurologists, and strategists. But in itself, it gave me meaning. So during all the conversations I've had during all these years, the overall objective was to get all the information, all the value, all the quality out of these conversations in order to put them into the book. Therefore, for me, it gave a personal meaning, but of course, for the reader, it's a different goal, a different objective that you must initiate or imagine.
I think the core principle that you're talking about, establishing meaning for oneself, is really key to have a healthy mindset, to have a life well lived when you're in your 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, whatever, and you're looking back and saying, was this a fulfilling life? I think that's a key core concept. By the way, on the screen for my listening audience, you can get over to Stephen's website at the personalbusinessplan.com, personalbusinessplan.com. Stephen, what's over there that people will see? Personalbusinessplan.com.
Well, there's lots of advice. There's a toolkit on which I've developed, which is now available in 94 countries, or we have users in 94 countries. So I've created, together with my wife, an online toolkit where you have all the exercises from our previous books, and you can develop an ebook yourself, for which very often fills, about 100 pages, 110 pages. That is the tool with which I work with clients. So they not only, let's say, it's not only talking to each other, it's also reading, which means it's a more logical and sequential mode rather than interactive communication face-to-face. And then they go in and they solve the exercises, they do the exercises online, and they get feedback on that. So it's sort of extremely documented. So this system, this 10-step system is, has worked for thousands of leaders now and executives. And I'm really, I'm very happy to have this tool available because, to be honest, Ken, you and I are both professionals, and we know that the spoken word has a big impact, but it's not permanent. It sort of disappears, right? So after a conversation, a client might, have the intention to do something, but slowly it sort of evaporates. Here, using a tool and writing it down, you actually get confronted with it again. So it's much easier to act and to take responsibility for your actions.
Well, I think introspection is the key to life, and taking some time. It's it's not introspecting one time. It's creating the habit of looking at ourselves. You don't go to the gym one time to build muscles. You go several times. The same thing with the introspection and taking some time. I love it. I find a book like yours. I take time. I go within it. I learn from it. I grow from it. And, but every day I've got that habit of taking some time to introspect, to learn, to grow, to develop. That's what I've been doing for decades, but you have too. You're right. We're professionals at it, but I think everybody needs to be a professional at introspection and learning and growing. Otherwise, you wake up one day and you're 50 pounds overweight, or you wake up one day, you're in a relationship you can't stand, or you wake up one day, you're in a business that you actually hate, or you wake up one day and your friends are leaving you because they don't want to be around you. And you're like, well, I don't know why. Then you go to I love what you said, to the blame shift. It's not about me at all. It's got to be about the environment or my friends or my family or something. I just can't stand those people. Well, I think we have to really turn the mirror of introspection right onto ourselves if we really want to live that thriving, joyful life. I want to move into thriving because, it's great. A lot of people live a mediocre life, and they live a mediocre life because it's an unexamined life. That's why you live a mediocre life. If that's you, I'm giving you why. And Stephen is too.